Hi, my name's Lana Wolf and I'm from Community Powered Responses. And this week's question asks, how transparent am I being about my intention? Have I shared my motivations and limitations openly from the start? This is the second last card from the pre-project phase, and it takes us straight into the relationship space. Not the relationship space as a nice extra, the relationship space that is the foundation for what determines what becomes possible, what becomes constrained, and what kind of trust is actually available in the work. And I want to name something directly. I do not think that the sector has really discussed this question, not in any serious, practical way. When we talk about transparency in narrow forms, we talk about budgets, timelines, terms of reference, consultation plans. We talk about managing expectations. We do not often talk about transparency about intention. We do not talk about whether we should be transparent about why we're really here, what we're really hoping to achieve beyond the project outputs. What pressures are we carrying? What politics are we embedded in? And what we cannot offer. And because we do not talk about it, we often default to an unspoken assumption that we cannot share our intentions, or that it's inappropriate, or that it could be confusing or risky or unprofessional. So instead we keep things at the surface level. We explain the intention of the project, but not the bigger program. We talk about activities, but not agendas. We talk about outcomes, but not paradigms. We rarely name the wider architecture that the project sits inside. That this work might be part of a broader donor strategy. It might be linked to foreign policy priorities. It might be carrying a theory of change that privileges certain worldviews over others. That it might be shaped by a particular development paradigm about what progress looks like, who has expertise, and what kind of knowledge counts. And here is where the question gets even sharper. If communities do not know those bigger intentions, what kind of consent are we really working with? If people don't know what the project is meant to do in the larger system, how can they make an informed decision about whether they want it, whether they want us, or what conditions they want to place on their participation? Transparency about intention is not moral performance, it's not confession, it's not oversharing. It's ethical clarity. It's saying, this is what I think I'm here to do. This is what I'm accountable for. This is what I'm not able to offer. This is where my power sits. This is what I can influence and what I cannot. Because we're not transparent about our limitations from the start, communities will still discover them. They will discover them when budgets run out, when decisions have already been made, when the donor says no, when the timeline can't move, when the scope is fixed. And by then the limitation does not land as honesty, it lands as withdrawal, or as deception, or as bait and switch. This card is asking something deeper than, have I communicated well? This card is asking, have I created the conditions for a real relationship? A relationship where people can respond to truth of what is happening, where they can negotiate, where they can refuse, where they can name their own intentions too. Because communities have intentions, partners have intentions, local organisations have intentions, they have strategies, constraints, politics, histories, rivals, and visions as well. But we don't always make space for those intentions to be spoken, sometimes because we've not spoken our own. So here are a few ways to sit with this card before you begin. What intentions am I carrying that I've not named out loud? What do I hope this project will do for my organisation, for my team, for my career, my credibility, my funding pipeline? What do I hope it will signal to the donor, or prove, or justify? What limitations am I avoiding naming because I'm worried it will weaken trust, when actually it might be the thing that makes trust possible? And what would it look like to be transparent in a way that is culturally safe, context aware, and relational? Not a downloaded speech, not a donor script, but a grounded conversation that says, this is what I understand, this is what I can offer, this is what I cannot, this is what I hear, what you want, what you need, and what you do not want. In a way, this is positionality, right? So sit with these questions, let them shape how you practice, and I will see you next week.